How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies is the feature directorial debut of Pat Bunatidapat, and already Bunatidapat has proven himself as a rising star worthy of being watched. At first glance, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies appears to be very reminiscent of other dramedies addressing impending death, most notably 2019's The Farewell. However, the longer How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies continues, the more it starts to become a distinctly beautiful coming-of-age tale that examines the harsh reality of death in a way most films simply can't or won't. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies primarily tells the story of M. Puttapong Asartanakal, a bratty, lazy, disrespectful college dropout who is chosen to spend his life as a failing live streamer instead of a productive member of society. That's until M's relatively estranged grandmother, Usha Sinkum, is given a terminal cancer diagnosis. As a harebrained scheme to get out of his financial rut and move out of his mother's, Saranrat Thomas, house, M decides to spend as much time with his grandmother as possible so he can put himself in her good favor and inherit her possessions and wealth. Surprisingly, not only does M reforge his familial bond with his grandmother, but he also realizes that he's not the only member of his family who has desires to manipulate their matriarch. M first gets this idea from his friend, Mui, Tontawan Tantavejikal, who works as a hospice nurse for her own relative at the start of the film. This is where How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies has one of its few missteps. Apart from an admittedly impactful revelation from Mui in the third act, Mui's role as a pseudo-romantic interest for M feels out of place, and not only because M and Mui are literal cousins in the film. Perhaps this was the film's way of further showcasing M's immaturity, but many of these sequences with Mui didn't add too much to the overall experience. Thankfully, the bulk of the screen time is rightfully given to M and his grandmother, whose chemistry is off the charts in the film. Puttapong Asartanakal does a marvelous job of making you hate his guts 1 second and feel profound empathy for him the next, though it's Usha Sinkum who really makes one ask where have you been? This is Sinkum's first IMDb credited role, which is truly astounding, as she injects a genuine authenticity that even the most renowned Oscar-winning stars have difficulty mastering. One scene in particular really drives home that thesis and might just be the most heartbreaking performance of 2024. Alright folks. Listen up. If you are enjoying the content of this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give the video a good old-fashioned thumbs up. Let's show the creators some love. In addition to Puttapong Asartanakal and Usha Sinkum, the supporting cast of How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies is also remarkable. This primarily includes M's mother and his two uncles, Kiang, Sonia Cunicorn, and Soai, Pongsatorn Jongwalas. You may notice that M's mother isn't referred to by name, and that's another stroke of brilliance from Pat Bunatidapat's screenplay that he co-wrote with Thodsapon Thiptinakorn. Uncle Kiang and Unli Soai could certainly be considered the antagonists of How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, but they're still portrayed as authentic people with terrestrial problems as opposed to mustache-twirling villains. Even Tontawan Tantavejikal's performance is great despite Mui's shortcomings as a character. The film's home country of Thailand could also absolutely be considered a character in its own right. Pat Bunatidapat and cinematographer Bunyanuch Krathong take the audience on a flawlessly vibrant tour of the country's city and landscapes, with there not being a single shot where the beautiful environments falter. Regardless of the subject being an affluent hotel or a crowded medical ward, the film's visuals are as beautiful as its tale is profound. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies' sharp wit and sense of humor easily makes it classifiable as a comedy, but there's of course a real sadness that is almost omnipresent throughout the film. With a title like that, it doesn't take a lot to figure out how the film ends, but where many films would try to rush one to move on from tragedy, How to Make Millions does something much more profound. The climax of the movie is fraught with tragedy, pain, and eventually the inevitable, and instead of portraying these events as if the central characters are fully prepared for their fate, the film makes it abundantly clear that it is okay to not be okay. It's genuinely difficult to think of a better feature debut in recent memory than How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. This being the first movie of Pat Bunatidapat and Usha Simkam is genuinely remarkable, and they are the real breakout stars of a movie that, in any case, soars with a heartfelt story, profound characters, and a beautiful setting. Despite being polar opposite themes, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies is a wonderful film that is just as much about growing up as it is about slowing down, something that anyone of any age from any part of the world can understand and empathize with. It's a film that is more than worthy of being recognized as one of the best films of 2024. Pros: an awards-worthy debut for Pat Bunatidapat and Usha Simkam. Stunning and beautiful environments and cinematography. A respectable refusal to ignore the tragic elements of deteriorating health. Cons: the subplot with Mui feels out of place.
นึกยังไงจะไปนอนบ้านอาม่าพวกมึงมาทำไมบ่อยๆวะคิดถึง